That's something which is in my textbook in the last chapter, which I teach every at university. So I explained it, I showed them, and they signed the next week. And that moment on, the train has left the station.
Yeah, actually, we are in the process of already the third deal, Jan.
Exactly.
Signing today.
And I think I said excited like 5 times in one sentence. So that's
yeah. So then you must be excited. Yeah. Welcome to this episode of Deal Decoded by Main Capital Partners, the series where we go behind the scenes of interesting tech deals and software partnerships. And I'm your host, Krijn Schuurman. Today we dive into the world of RegTech with a company that's reshaping how financial institutions handle risk, compliance and reporting, RiskConcile. They are a software and service company delivering data, risk and regulatory reporting solutions to the asset management industry. And I have 2 guests today, Jan de Spiegeleer, he's the CEO of RiskConcile, and Jorn de Ruijter, partner and head of investor relations at Main Capital Partners. Welcome.
Morning.
Nice that you join me. Before we get into the strategy and growth, let's set the stage. RiskConcile isn't just another RegTech player. It's a company combining deep quantitative expertise, storing service DNA, scalable software into a hybrid model that financial institutions rely on every single day. I hope that's correct.
100% correct.
Good start. Jan, can you take us back to the beginning? RiskConcile started in 2015.
Yep.
Leuven, Belgium, with a clear mission, automate the most complex and time-consuming regulatory tasks in asset management. What problem were you trying to solve?
Well, we started in 2015, actually basically as a consultancy. And what happens is you go to one client, you have a certain problem. You have another client, you see the same problem. And when I dived into the regulation, I found this buzzword called Monte Carlo simulation. Now, having a mathematics background and coming out of the risk management, for me, that's it. That's what I want to do.
Why did you call it that way?
Monte Carlo simulation. It's a large simulation to generate random numbers to solve financial problems.
Okay.
And we build a software around that, and that's just the beginning of everything. So when I matched the mathematics and the challenge of the clients into one software product.
And you reckon the industry was ready for this kind of approach?
The industry was very manual. So people suffering with spreadsheets, calculators, manpower, but nothing on a cloud solution as we were doing, as was our ambition. Yeah.
And Jan, at what moment did you think we've built something that really changes the way financial institutions work?
So the beginning is very difficult. So it's things change. You have to compete against other vendors. But I still remember the day. So it was summer 2018, we were contacted by a large American bank doing business in Europe. So they had a problem that nobody else seemed to solve. I looked at it and I said, yeah, but that's the Brownian Bridge. You can solve this with the Brownian Bridge. That's something which is in my textbook in the last chapter, which I teach every at university. So I explained it, I showed them, and they signed the next week. And that moment on, the train has left the station. It's all good to go.
So it's already quite some time ago that this light went on.
Yeah, that was fantastic. So it's in the textbooks, but apparently you have to brush it off and show it and explain and program, and then people sign off on that one.
Well, 10 years forward, I can say RiskConcile had a strong customer base, as you explained already, with a big starting client, solid technology, backbone, and was ready for the next phase. And this is when Main came into the picture. This was the first Belgian platform investment.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
You already did some business. You had the office in Antwerp already by then?
Yeah, we started that in 2022. Yeah.
And then you identified the RiskConcile. How was that? How did it go? You were present and then you were looking out for something like this, or?
Yeah, correct. So at Main, we have a very proactive outreach and we try to be in touch with all the, let's say, new software companies that we come across. And we firmly believe in centralized data, knowledge and experience, but then with a local touch and local presence in local markets. And therefore, we also firmly believe that you need to be present with the team. That's what sparked the initiative of the Antwerp office back in 2022.
Yep.
And the RegTech space in general was a market that we already knew from our prior investment in a company called Cleversoft, a German investment, which was a good success story for Main. And on the basis of that experience, we basically went out into the market to look for basically a new starting point for us in this specific market.
Yeah.
And that's also how we came across RiskConcile back then.
Yeah.
And did a proactive outreach and saw a company that was founder-led with deep domain experience and a good customer base, a solid growth rate, good retention metrics. So that was something that really sparked our interest. And we got in touch with Jan and the team. Found a very motivated and broad a team behind Jan and Carl as the founders. So that was for us really the right fit for a new main platform.
And why were you convinced the timing was also right? Because that's a very important aspect, right?
That's of course testing and seeing with the team there if now is the right time. Of course, sometimes it can take multiple years before eventually getting to a deal. Here it actually went pretty quick. We got into touch and felt there was a good spark there, and also that the team was ready to make a next step and scale to become a European RegTech leader. And so actually it went quite quick after the first conversation, right, Jan?
100% correct. So we first contacts were in January, I think, and then we left the platform and we started to kicking off in June 2024. So 6 months later, very smoothly. Yeah.
So only a few months. Is that indeed what you're used to, or does it feel quick? Or
that's relatively quick, I would say. Generally, we tend to take our time and build relationships over multiple years, and of course, you need to be there at the right time for, let's say, a founding team or a management team to start a collaboration, and it takes mutual trust as well.
And we're sitting here 1.5 years later, so apparently, So that's indeed a good reason to talk value creation, because that's what we're here for. The RegTech market is evolving incredibly fast, especially with ESG, risk transparency, and complex reporting standards. So, Jorn, how did you look at the potential for RiskConcile at that moment in the landscape?
So as mentioned, we saw a solid growth platform. It was already profitable, had a good customer base in place, large brand names within the asset management industry, but still, of course, relatively small compared to maybe some of the larger players out there. So there we saw an opportunity to quickly scale the company to become even more relevant and more visible in this market by also adding additional reporting capabilities and additional products, basically, to indeed become more visible and become more relevant also in these larger RFPs that typically go around in these markets. So that's what we saw, and of course the RegTech space or the regulatory landscape is continuously changing. New regulations come up, and what we saw with RiskConcile is that they really are able to quickly step in on these. They have a very strong, let's say, development team in place that are also very knowledgeable of what is going on in the regulatory landscape, and that combination, we really saw as a good foundation for an active buy and build strategy in this space.
Yeah, so you explained that very well. Is it also a trade-off that there needs to be huge potential, but on the other hand, it shouldn't be too big already, because then you're not that needed
exactly
as much anymore?
I would say that is something that we like as main, and that is also a typical main deal, I would say, to step in when indeed a company has a certain size and a certain level of let's say customer base and has a proven business model basically, but wants to grow into this next league.
Yeah. Jan, so what do you think was the biggest contribution of Main at that stage?
So the moment they contacted us, we've been contacted many times before by VC players, PE funds and whatever.
Obviously.
The difference was they knew about software. Software was their main business. That's a big difference. And also the buy and build strategy. We wanted to grow because there was enormous consolidation taking place in our industry. Clients, they wanted to have one phone number to call to solve a problem and not 15 different vendors. So to join that game, you want to grow, and the backing of Main, a strong financial partner, and knowledge of the market is very important for us. I mean, that's. If you saw something, you see a company, you contact Jorn and the team. They have a deal sheet ready. They analyze the company, so it becomes very easy on the word. It becomes easier having them on board. It's a big difference. It was a big game changer for us. Yeah.
So they gained a lot of trust, knowing what the business is exactly about, compared to maybe other VCs.
100%. And also that makes a big difference. Having somebody who had a previous Cleversoft, I think, in Germany, that went to the RegTech space already before us. So that was really very helpful. Yeah.
Jorn, you already explained the process, especially in this early phase. But you also are concerned with long-term strategy, of course. Yes. Two international add-on acquisitions were announced, being Fitz Partners in the UK and B4 Finance in France. Could you elaborate a little bit more on those two?
Yes, happy to. So indeed, the first one, Fitz Partners, is bringing us basically data capabilities, fund fee data capabilities. Something that is used in these complex calculations that Jan and the team are doing back at RiskConcile. And they have a very large customer base within one of the central, financial hubs of Europe. And also a lot of asset managers are based there. So this provided us both this data capabilities as well as entrance to a lot of these larger brand names within the European asset management space. And basically, this was already a relationship that Jan and the team had. So basically, the first discussions came actually from the RiskConcile team, and then, of course, we helped eventually to get the deal across the line. But they were already very close together. So that was how we got into touch with that company and that team. And then for B4 Finance, the company based in Paris, that is bringing us basic onboarding and KYC and AML capabilities, mainly on the private markets side. So really strengthening that part of our business. Yeah, here we came into touch actually through the main network, through some of the advisors that we knew from the Belgian market that brought us into touch with the French counterparts basically, and that's how the ball got rolling. And we actually had a good click with the team there. And they also are now part of the broader group and also rolled over to continue building the business together with Jan and the team. So two very synergistic, I would say, add-on acquisitions with a lot of potential. And then actually we are in the process of already the third deal, Jan, signing today actually as we sit here. Yeah. So that is very exciting. That is another UK-based company. So a nice little scoop here for you.
We'll discuss that one later. Maybe it's on one hand, it's opportunity-driven. So one opportunity brings you to the other one. But on the other hand, you have in the back of your mind, you need the capabilities, know your customers, you mentioned. So it's both ends that needs to meet in a sense. And then you're in a sort of sweet spot. Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's definitely how it works. And of course, we know what we want to build. And that Jan and the team have a very clear vision on that. So that's also the collaboration that we have. They mentioned to us, we are looking for this type of solution, or we're missing this in the value chain. And then we go out and try to find or look in our network if we can find the right target.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to build a supply chain, a value chain from the clients coming in, KYC, ML, checking the clients, fund subscription.
Yeah.
Then we have the assets, the portfolio sense, the risk calculation. That's us, RiskConcile. We have the data layer, that's Fitz Partners. And on top of that, we want to expand more in the private assets. We RiskConcile very much in the listed assets, the listed funds, the usage funds. There's also the big universe in Europe and private equity and so on. And then we talk about France and we talk about Germany, for example. So it's also in that area I want to expand product-wise, but also geographically. That's why B4 Finance fits that geographical vision. Yep. And the other add-on actually has a very strong German component, and that's really fitting the puzzle. Yeah.
Okay, let's look forward in terms of vision, trends, and future impact. The financial sector faces stricter disclosure rules, rising data complexity, and global compliance pressure. How does RiskConcile, Jan, plan to position itself in this evolving landscape?
It's the landscape is very, very complex and gets even more complex. I mean, for example, the UK, you have the Brexit, you have new regulations. So if you're in a bank in Europe and you want to produce reports for your customers, there's a UK law, there's a European law, and every single country has some specifics. In Germany, we're having other kind of reports, same for Italy. Doing this, you need what we call thought leadership. We want our clients, when they have an issue, they have to think about RiskConcile, about the experts. They have to give us a call and we have immediately a solution ready to deal with that. So this thought leadership is very important for us. This being said, we organize on a group level, and so the RiskConcile group, we organize at the group level the webinars, the blog posts, the white papers, educating clients, reaching out to clients, because we want to be seen as a thought leader in this domain of regulatory reporting across the European hemisphere. It's very important for us. Of course, there's also AI. AI is everywhere. I mean, you can't open a newspaper if it's on the front page. For us, AI is a tool. It's not the goal as such. We use it, but it's not let's say, a focus or something we strive to. We use it to make ourselves more efficiently, but that's about it. So it's not just a tool. It's not the goal and ambition as such. Data are very important. So our clients are facing huge amount of data that we use to make their reports. And we're becoming more and more what you call the single source of truth. So we take their data, we normalize it, we store it, so we can tell them for every report we make for the customer, we can tell every single point, when we received it, who stored it, who normalized it, and so on. It's a very important thing, this whole data quality exercise. And it's also the reasons why we're partnering with Fitz Partners in the UK, because they have this expertise.
Yeah. Is this also to arrange some peace of mind at your client that you are indeed the single source of truth, and also the advisor, that you have the knowledge? You said you also need to be ready before the questions come, maybe.
Exactly. So you need to be on conferences, talk to regulators, simply to be ready when, for example, the UK has a new regulation now, the CCI. It's a new buzzword. Like in finance, we always have these famous 3-letter words. Now we're doing already for the clients all these calculations beforehand to tell them, okay, this is going to be there in 2027. You need to be ready. Yeah. But this is the impact. We did the numbers for you. These are the changes, and ready when you are.
Yeah, I can imagine clients get nervous if there's new regulation and you're insecure that you need someone that you can rely on. That is indeed part of your proposition.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Jorn, from Main's perspective, what does success look like? Well, in this context, of course.
I would say if we achieve the things that Jan just mentioned, I would say the success and the financial return will follow itself from that. So we want to become a very known player within this RegTech space, in the broader asset management space in Europe. So we need to be on all the lists for these asset managers to call, or actually be on top of that list, of course. Based on a very strong service level that we can provide, deep domain knowledge, and simply a broad, let's say, suite of solutions, so that we can cater to all the questions that these asset managers have. And that way, as we become more visible, we believe that we will also have success in terms of the overall return on investment, let's say. Yeah.
That's why we also make this recording, I reckon. But
yes.
I asked you about timing. Maybe this is also the case. We're 1.5 years now going with you together. At the beginning, it's maybe it feels good, but it's hard to tell that's already a success. So at some stage, you look back and you say, this went well. Is this 1.5 or 2 years on average that you look back and say, we did okay, or look each other in the eyes? When is that moment?
Well, I was in Paris last week. You know what makes me happy is then I see a sales guy from the Paris office, B4 Finance, on a motorbike. On the back of the guy is Thomas, sales from RiskConcile. And they're going both to see a client in Paris. That makes me happy. You go into London, there's a big event going on where Fitz Partners organize it. And you come there, there's a big banner, our name, their name. I see 2 of my people. I see the Fitz team. Yeah, that means it's all going well. We're going to the right track. Yeah.
Good. Because I wanted to ask you, you explained the uncertainties at clients and you have to keep up with your knowledge, etc. Feels like real work. I know it is, but also I want to know what is the stuff your people are really get excited about. You looked excited, by the way, the last 30 seconds. So I'm convinced it is.
For them, it's opening you. I mean, Leuven is just opening the Leuven box. So basically, they can know more. They go to London, go to Paris. We discovered the French market, something which is very difficult to enter. We speak French, but of course, being non-French entering the French market is a bit difficult. So that's really opening a new world for them. The products that B4 Finance and Fitz has, new to us. So again, this opening a new kind of palette in your briefcase. So that's they're all very excited. The software developers in Leuven, they get exposed to new techniques and new databases, new instruments, new regulations. For them, again, exciting. So it's only new every day. So I'm very excited. Yeah.
Nice.
I think I said excited like 5 times in one sentence. So that's
So then you must be excited.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's hope it also counts for the employees, but I'm sure it does. So that's good to hear. We've almost come to an end of this episode of Deal Decoded, but before we're there, we have this tradition of giving you a little challenge, which is a dilemma. So maybe, Jan, to start with you. What would you say, the Dutch directness or the Belgian polite diplomacy?
It's a very easy question, actually, Krijn. So basically, being Belgian means look for the compromise. You avoid the hard confrontations, except in football, because you have this in an international buy and build. There's different cultures. There's the French, the English, the Germans, the Belgians. So you need to be a bit diplomatic to get the shop going on. So definitely the Belgian approach. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I wonder, maybe the Dutch would answer the same because they're very direct, but they always say when they speak to someone from Belgium, I love the language, etc. It's softer, it's nicer, but that's just a personal...
There is one issue, the fact if you're too diplomatic, that's the reason why it takes us almost like 2 years to make a government.
Yeah.
So that's also,
we get impatient.
Also a problem. Yeah.
Well, you did very well, actually. Jorn, also for you, of course, your role as head of investor relations or as a partner in the investment team.
Yeah, that's a difficult one.
That's a tougher one.
With Jan here at the table, of course, there's only one answer I can give, and that's partner of the investment team. But the honest answer is that it's really helpful to do both, because the IR part really helps also here at the RiskConcile case, basically, because all our own investors, but also we ourselves are also tied to these regulations and also need to have these reportings in place. So that way already knew a bit about the regulatory landscape, basically. And on the other hand, being an IR or basically being a part of the deal team also helps in the IR work, because you can speak more vividly about what we do with these companies to create value. So the honest answer is really both. But
it's a bit like how Belgium would answer.
It's a very diplomatic answer.
Very diplomatic this time.
Yes. Thanks anyway. Thank you both for giving this insight in the strategy and the future of this subject. And of course, to you all viewers and listeners, thank you for tuning in at this episode of Deal Decoded. For more insights at Main Capital's investments and future episodes, follow Deal Decoded on Spotify and of course on LinkedIn and the website. Thanks and till next time.